Okay, good morning. Now, I was thinking about the garden. Uh, when I was a young boy, I did the garden. My mom was a gardener. She loved gardening, and she would get the catalogs out every winter and order garden seed, hoping that that would help spring come quicker, I guess. And I would got involved with that with her, and I really enjoyed that too. I always look forward to these seeds coming. And I enjoyed helping her select different things. Of course, she always had her mind set. She always ordered the same old thing. I said, couldn't we try this and this and this and this? Can't we try that? Can't we try that? Oh, I just want to try all kinds of stuff because I didn't want to be bored with the same old stuff. She had the same old lima beans, the same old peas, the same old corn. Well, my dad liked uh, Golden Cross Bantam corn, if I remember correctly. Um, and my mom liked Iowa Chief corn. I don't blame her. That stuff is some kind of the best corn. But then I did discover the Illinois Chief was just as good, if not better. So get yourself out of your box and stop being so hard set on one thing. I know we are all that way. We're hard set on certain things and we won't try something else. But when we do, we can sometimes be so amazed at ourselves for actually liking something else. And sometimes we don't want to admit it, because we're too stubborn and too proud to admit it. And it just doesn't pay to be so proud and stuck up and unwilling to admit something sometimes. You stomp, I mean, stump, how are you going to say it? You um, stall yourself from growth that way. I don't know. Now I open up another box of, like, you open up the box and you grow out. Uh, and then it reminds me of the little toy we had. We crank it, and then we hit a button, and the monkey or whatever it was, it popped out. And do you know some people are that way when they are a certain age? They get a certain growth spurt, and suddenly they grow tall. Do you know that when I had an accident, uh, I got a half inch taller? Uh, Somebody had crashed into the back of my station wagon, and thank God I'm alive. This station wagon was a station wagon in mint condition. It was a 92 Honda station wagon, and this was in 2006. And that was my work car. It had racks on it. I really liked that car. That thing was such a good car. There wasn't a thing wrong with that car. And somebody creamed it from the back and pushed me into the next car. Both of those cars that creamed me were uh, big old SUVs. And I wouldn't mind having one myself. A nice SUV, that would be so much fun. Uh, but anyhow, so this SUV banged in the back of my car at about 40 miles an hour when I was sitting still at a stoplight. Why do we call it a stoplight? Why do not we call it a go light or a caution light? But that's like we have a negative feeling about the light, so we always call it a stoplight, no matter what color it shows us. Oh, we hope the stoplight won't change to red or yellow while it's green. Come on, stoplight, change to green. Well, why don't we call it a go light? That's more positive. Maybe we'd get more satisfaction out of life if we look at all of life as a go light rather than a stoplight. But some people get pleasure out of saying no, and that's what the light, we think, does. It gets pleasure out of saying no. And some people will just say no at anything that you want to do. Some people are like that. You say, do you think I should do this or that? Then they say no. Or may I do this or that? No. So sometimes, I mean, not just sometimes, but many times, I will not ask somebody about something if I should or could or can do something. I'll just do it because I'm not going to give them the pleasure of saying no. I'd rather ask them for forgiveness later than the pleasure of saying no now. That's just the way it is. This might be, I don't know what it is, but I don't know why people are like that. But okay, so I was talking about the stoplight. No, I was talking about an accident. uh, the car got pushed into the next car, and in the process of that, I got a sudden severe whiplash, and I got knocked out very briefly. Um, just like instantly knocked out and instantly back. I guess I don't know because I was stunned and I didn't understand what was going on. Why my car was hitting this other car when I had my foot on the brake and I couldn't make it stop. And just momentarily, I had forgotten that I was even stopped there. I didn't when I went out and came back to almost right away, but I didn't understand what was going. I did not know I was in an accident. I just didn't know that, and I was just sitting there stunned for a few seconds, and then I realized, hey, this was an accident. What happened here? And then I looked back and I saw that the window was out, so I knew that something was going on. But I still just sat there for a few moments, not knowing what to do. And then I decided to call 911. And as I was looking around, I saw there was another accident over there. So when I called 911, they said, well, we already know about the accident. I said, no, you don't know about this accident. There's another accident right here I know nothing about. But my accident just happened. And fortunately, there was a sign there that said what street it was going off there at the light. Can't think of the moment. We all know what that street is, but I can't think of it at the moment. Um, but had it not been for that, I'd have probably been even more disoriented, and I would not have been able to tell the 911 dispatcher where I was, because I didn't know otherwise. That's how disoriented I was. I had just gotten on the road, so, but anyhow, then I got out of the car and started walking around a bit. I mean, I just couldn't believe it that somebody would do that to me. But anyhow, what I was going to say, oh, by the way, and then the ambulance came and said, I got to go to the hospital. I said, I do not. I said, I did not call you to come and get me to take me to the hospital, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not going to the hospital. And then they said, well, then you have to sign this paper that you're not going. I said, no, I'm not signing the paper. I did not ask you to come, and I did not ask for a ride, and I'm not signing a paper. I did not ask for this. They said, well, we have to get you to sign the paper to relieve us from you. I said, I am not going to do it. They said, well, you have to do it. Well, I don't know if they could have required me by law to do that or not, but I finally gave in and did it. I decided not to be stubborn. I'm not going to ruin their day one way or the other. And when they hadn't signed it and let them go, let them go, or made them go, I don't know. But, uh, so anyway, what happened was the whiplash that I was in, I got from that, put my body down somehow, down into the floorboard, sort of like it was going to do that or whatever. I don't know, but my back got in better shape. In other words, it put my back in place. It seems like, and someone had asked me then a little later how tall I was, and I said I was 5'9". No, no, you're taller than that. So I measured myself because the person said you got to be at least a half inch to an inch taller. And so I measured myself, and I had gained half an inch taller from that accident. But later I was in an accident which I mentioned before, the one where I hit the semi truck. And I'm thinking that might have put my back out of place again because uh, I get more back pain again than what I did during that period between those two accidents, which was 6 months. But I don't know if that's a fact or not. I did not measure myself since then, so I don't know. But um, but I put my back out of place when I was about 17 years old. I had a bag of feed I was going to put up, and I pushed it up with my head, and something happened to my back. Now, besides the fact that I inherited a bad back from the Nislis, Nislis are prone to have bad backs, plus that, plus other factors, I just have a bad back. I don't know what it's like, really, not to have a bad back. I guess when I was a child, I did not think about it so much. Uh, Probably not so much until I got in my teens, and maybe not even very much until I did that with that bag of feed. But I don't know. Maybe that did not really have that much to do with it. Maybe all right, my back was already bad before that, and that just made it worse. But okay, so we do have bad backs, and so we have to be really careful. When I see a coin on the ground, if it's a dime or a nickel, I might pick it up. If it's a quarter, I'll for sure pick it up. If it's a penny, I don't use it. You know why? I tell myself, picking up the penny is not justified because it could shorten my health span just a hair as a result. And of course, the devil wants me to think I might live 1 minute less at the end of my lifespan because of it. But I'm not going to die 1 minute quicker just because of the penny, because that's not going to cause my death appointment with God to come 1 minute quicker. Now, I don't know if God gives us a death appointment the moment we're born or before we're born or how that works, but we all have an appointment with death, but we're not going to die before that. Picking up a penny is not going to make me die 1 second quicker or 1 minute quicker. It's not going to do that. Now, what could do that is if I foolishly throw myself out in front of a truck and get killed by it or take a gun and shoot myself. I can shorten my life, but nobody can shoot me unless it's my time to die. They cannot do it. If someone wants to kill me, then God is going to stop that person from killing me. That person might die. The person that set that person up to kill me will also die, because God will not tolerate that kind of doing. I'm not going to die before my time. I'm not worried about dying. I'm not worried about someone coming with a machine gun and killing everybody, including myself, in the theater if I'm sitting in the theater watching a movie. I'm not going to die. It just isn't going to happen. Now, maybe someone down at the bottom of the theater might die if I'm up on top, but anybody within 60 feet of me is probably not going to die because I'm not going to die. And if you're down on the bottom and you believe that that you're not going to die, and I'm up at top and I believe I'm not going to die, and someone else is scattered hither and yonder, I don't think that that machine gun is going to be allowed to enter that room. I just don't. Um, I mean, you could differ with me about that if you want, but then you might be the one dying if you differ with me on that. But I have faced death so many times in my life, and I have even been at the point where I have wished I could die and wasn't allowed to. So I feel like I mean, it's not a feeling. I know that I'm not going to die until it's time. I have experienced it so many times that the devil tried to kill me and God spared me by a miracle. Uh, I mean, I could give you countless times of it, and I might do that in the future. But this movie is done almost 16 minutes long, and I was starting to talk about garden, and now I'm talking about death. And I was talking about an accident. What all did I talk about in this movie? Talk about rabbit trails now. Okay. Um, Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you later.